Hello, I'm Beth Joey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. This is the channel where I paint my face, turn my camera on, and talk about some books. I'm highly caffeinated, which means I have more energy than I should. But I'm also very hungry, which means my hands are shaking like this. Picture of hell! Recently I saw that Reagan from Peru's Project put out her most intimidating books on her TBR video, which I think she does annually, and I thought, you know what, that sounds like fun, but I want to try it out and make a list of the most intimidating books on my TBR. Let's just jump right in with the first prompt, which is a book that I haven't been able to finish. And for me, this book is Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, or the first book in the Wheel of Time series. Now for this one, I have picked this up I think twice now, and I just was never able to get further than like 100 or 200 pages in this book, and that was just because I don't think I was in the mind frame to read something of this scale, and I was just incredibly intimidated by the fact that the series alone is 13 books long, I think, and then the book itself was about 700 pages. Next up is a book that I haven't read because I haven't had the time. Now this book is a book that I've had for a really long time. It is a TBR vet, and that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. It follows these two star-crossed lovers as they are put through a number of trials, I believe, for the Night Circus, which is a mysterious circus that doesn't announce its arrival. It's just there one day and gone the next. It sounds like a really fascinating premise. I love star-crossed lovers. I've heard amazing things about the writing style and it being so lyrical and magical and beautiful. It is on my self-destruct book list, which I will link down below. Hopefully I can pick it up before the 12 months are up, or it will be booted unceremoniously off of my TBR. Next up, we have a book that I haven't read because it's a sequel. And this book I think is actually the third book in its respective series, and that is The Mirror and the Light by Hilary Mantel. There are two reasons why I haven't read this yet. One, it's huge. Two, I haven't read the first and second book. I'm the idiot that saw this in Waterstones, read the back and was like, oh, this sounds really cool, and thought it was a standalone. It's not. From what I know about it, it's written like a novel, but it's a historically accurate retelling of Thomas Cromwell's life as he made his way up through the English court at the time of Henry VIII and obviously witnessed everything that happened around him. Next up is a book that I haven't read because it is brand new, and this one is a mystery that's kind of based in truth. The Christie Affair by Nina de Gramont. I believe this sort of centers around Agatha Christie, obviously, and the fact that Agatha Christie, before she actually started writing any of her famous mystery novels, she actually disappeared herself for 11 days, and I think she staged her own disappearance. This is told from the husband's mistress's perspective. It sounds fascinating, but like I said, I only just bought it. The next prompt is a book that I haven't read because I didn't like a book that I previously read by the same author, and I'm stretching this one a little bit. I didn't have a book that fit that prompt, so what I've gone through is a book that I haven't read because the book that this person edited is one that I didn't like. I didn't like One by One by Ruth Ware, and Nita Prose is the editor for Ruth Ware. This book is The Maid. It is a new release, so I've got a bit of time before I really need to pick it up, but it has been so frequently mentioned in so many of the other booktubers videos that I watch, and so many people have said that they love it. The next book is a book I haven't read because I've not been in the mood, and I don't tend to be in the mood for contemporary fiction unless it is a romance, and this one definitely isn't, or at least it's not heavy on the romance, and that is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've had this book for about 2 years now, and I've just never had the impulse to pick it up, despite loving The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I read recently. It's one of those ones where you have to think, you have to really critique the book and the characters and understand and everything, and I'm not ready for that. But it follows the famous Reaver family. The father is a famous rock star who appeared in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. His name is Mick Reaver. The children are famous in their own right. They are surfers, models, photographers, beloved by their community, and they host this party every year, but by the end of the night the house has gone up in flames. The next prompt is a book that I haven't read yet because it's humongous, and I don't actually own that many humongous books, but I consider a big book to be 500 pages or more. This one is 519 pages, so I consider it to count as a pretty big book, and that is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. As for what it's about, I don't really know. The blurb is very vague. All it says is, bound as one to love, honor, or burn, a witch and a witch hunter thrust into holy matrimony. There was only one way such a story could end, a stake and a match. So it sounds like a sort of forced proximity enemies to lovers, but it's pretty big and it's part of a series, so I just haven't gotten around to it. The next prompt is a book I haven't read because it was a cover buy, but I haven't seen very many good reviews about it, and that is Fable by Adrian Young. That cover is incredible to me. I love the red and the pop of color. I love that Fable's eyes are really, really blue down the bottom there. And then I love that in the title, you've got this sort of sword or like dagger going through the F. And yeah, when you put this up to light, it just pops. It's amazing. Some people that I've seen on BookTube haven't loved it, haven't loved the series, haven't been able to connect to it. So I worry that I'm also going to fit into that category. It follows a girl who is the daughter of the most powerful trader in the Narrows, which is where she lives, but her father abandoned her on a legendary island filled with thieves where she has to scrounge for foods, just scrounge to survive. So she partners up with West to prove herself and make her way off this island so she can join her father once again as a trader in the Narrows. And the last prompt is the most intimidating book on my TBR. Now, most people I've seen have picked just a chunky book, and that's too easy for me. That's too easy. I have picked a book that is the most intimidating because I feel like it is so beloved. I have heard so many people talking about this book and its sequel on BookTube. I have heard so many people saying how much they love it, and I think this book is actually based off of probably the most famous play of all time, which is just another thing that makes it incredibly intimidating. You've probably already guessed it. Say it with me. These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. First of all, cover. Gorgeous. Second of all, I worry because it is based off of Romeo and Juliet, which makes me think they're both gonna die at the end. But I know that it has a second book, so it's likely that they won't. I actually don't know what this book is about. I just bought it because everybody else was talking about it and I felt like I could join the bandwagon. Blurb says, the year is 1926 and Shanghai hums to the tune of debauchery. A blood feud between two gangs runs the streets red, leaving the city in chaos. Juliet Kai is the proud heir of the Scarlet Gang, a network of criminals far above the law. Roma Montahov is the prodigal son of her greatest rivals, the White Flowers, who have fought the Scarlets for generations. He is also Juliet's first love and first betrayal. When a deadly madness strikes gangsters on both sides, the people start to whisper of a contagion and a monster in the shadows, and as the deaths stack up, Juliet and Roma must set their guns and grudges aside and work together. Like I said, this book is the most intimidating book for me because it is just so well loved. Those are the most intimidating books on my TBR. Let me know in the comments down below if these are also intimidating books for you, or what your intimidating books are for this year, and whether or not you've been conquering any of them. I would be so proud of you guys to know if you have. Of course, let me know down below if you've read any of these books, loved them, hated them. It always helps me figure out which books I want to read next. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be notified when I release new content, and it's a really easy way to help me build my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!